And right now, health officials are warning people who live in the Grant Park area to be cautious. This is after mosquitoes tested positive for the West Nile virus.
Atlanta News First, Niamani Watson is live from the neighborhood. And Niamani, you spoke with some neighbors about the warning. What did they have to say?
Yeah, we've seen people out here all morning long, walking their dog, going for a run. Neighbors we spoke with say they're a bit concerned, but not enough to keep them inside.
Well, that's scary. There are quite a bit of mosquitoes. I was just telling my family the other day that we do have a lot of mosquitoes up here.
The Fulton County Board of Health says mosquitoes collected in the Grant Park area tested positive for West Nile virus Tuesday. Yesterday, crews went door to door notifying neighbors. Emma Harding lives in the area. She says she's paying attention but not panicking.
Concerned, sure, just because it's brought up, but not necessarily dire to where I don't want to go outside.
Health officials warn mosquitoes can be dangerous if they're carrying the virus. Infectious disease doctor Dr. Christine Zarowski says most people, about 80%, won't feel sick or may have mild symptoms. But in rare cases, especially for senior citizens and people with weakened immune systems, West Nile can lead to serious illness affecting the brain.
If you start developing confusion or weakness in your arms and legs, having a hard time thinking properly, and you also have a fever and some other things, you should have someone take a look at you immediately.
Here are some tips to avoid being bit. Avoid being outside at dusk and dawn. That's when mosquitoes are the most active. Wear loose-fitting clothing. Cover all of your skin with insect repellent. And drain any containers outside with standing water. Also, when buying insect repellent, make sure it contains DEET. It's an oily liquid health officials say is the most effective against mosquito bites. Reporting live from Grant Park, I'm Niamani Watson, Atlanta News First.